My name's Lance, and I'm happy to talk to you all as YouTube just launched their new podcast, and a good chance for us to speak a little bit slower and at a natural conversational pace. Sometimes videos can be very quick, and even though they're visually appealing, we might not be able to keep up with the content as it moves across the screen. So the nice thing about a podcast is it's going to focus on your listening skills, and it's just a good chance to maybe tone it down a bit. A little bit about me, and then there'll be some other content and podcasts in the playlist, as you can see. I'm American, and I'm from the USA, and I grew up in a state called Maine, and Maine is the most northeastern state in the USA. And it's the only state that borders one other state. Most states have borders with two or more other states. Maine's the only one. And I believe I've heard it somewhere that Maine people, or maniacs, or Mainers, are some of the least traveled people because it's so far up north. Very cold winters, as you can imagine, and mild summers, but a beautiful place to grow up. I left Maine when I was, I believe, 15 and lived in New York, New Jersey. And I've been living in South Korea for about 16 years. I came here originally to get involved in finance because I was in mortgage banking for 10 years in America. And I came to Korea to do the same. But I didn't have the language skills, and it was too much to learn Korean in a short time. So I got into education, and that was back in 2010. So how many years is that now? 2000 to 2024. Yes, 14 years. 14 years in education. And I started with young learners and then started teaching TOEFL. And as you know, the Duolingo English test for the past 5 years. Been in classrooms. And it's been great. It's been rewarding. It's been pretty amazing experience to come to another country. I moved here with my entire family. So I came with my whole family at that time, and now they've all grown up and they live back in the USA in the Las Vegas area. So if you're ever there, look them up. They're the kids that look like me. My daughter was in kindergarten when we first moved here. And my eldest was, I think, in 4th grade. So then they all graduated. They all went through the school systems, learned the language, got fully immersed, and moved back to the United States. Almost, when they moved back to the States, it was about 3 years ago, and they moved back as Americans, but they almost felt like foreigners because they'd lived in Korea for so long. So I definitely know what it's like to live in another country. A lot of my videos and shorts and things that I talk about are educational based and academic based and Duolingo based, but a lot of it is focused on some life topics as well. What happens when you live overseas? What happens when you go to a visa interview? How do you feel when you are the foreigner? How do you get yourself out of difficult situations? What's the best thing to say when you're in such and such a circumstance? And I learned that right away when I came to Korea. I didn't know a lot of Korean words. I knew how to say hello and thank you and where's the bathroom, but I didn't know much else. And I remember the 2 words that I learned first when I came to Korea, because I do think that language, first and foremost, is based on need. When you need to learn a word, you'll remember it. You really will. Because we're not walking around like dictionaries. Read something from a language app and then we immediately remember it. It doesn't work that way. It's usually when we need that word and when we need to apply it in our life for something that's important. The 2 words that I learned, the first word I learned was flour. Not the plant, but the ingredient. Flour. I remember my daughter was young and I said, we need to go buy some flour. I don't know how to do that. And she was a little girl. I said, what's the word for flour in Korean? And she said, milkaru. I said, all right, let's go get some milkaru. And we held her hand and she showed me the local store and I said, Milkaru, because I need to try. And the woman walked me over to where the flower was, and that was that. And the second word I learned was, because I needed the flower, then I remembered the word. The second word I learned was police station. And that's not because I was in trouble. It was because I had to take a taxi to the school that I got a job at, and it was right next to the police station. So I learned how to say 경찰서, which is police station in Korean. And I've never forgotten. I needed that word because if I didn't know how to say police station, then the taxi driver would not have known where to leave me, to drop me off. So there you go. There's a little bit about language that you learn when you really need it. And I'm sure you all feel the same. Those of you that are living in foreign countries other than your own, or English-speaking countries, you realize those facts very quick. I started the platform, the Duolingo English Test platform, about a year ago, and it's been great, and it's been an amazing way not to just learn a lot about making a practice platform that helps people get ready for the test. We talk about that a lot in our videos, but more because I'm talking to some pretty incredible people. Just people like you and me that has a story. Everyone has a very unique story, and it's special, and it's theirs, but it's very unique. To give you an idea, I got a comment from a young woman. I think she was 16 years old, and she was from northwestern corner of Myanmar. And her message basically said, I gotta pass this test because there's a war going on and I want to get out of here. So I've said in the videos too that for some of us, we want to practice and get, and get the score that we need so that we can go to a school of our choice. And for someone like that, her reason for taking it was, she wanted to go to a better school, but the other motivation was, I've got to get out of here. My life is dangerous. Where I'm living right now is not safe. And so people like that, it makes me feel valuable. It does make me feel good that I'm meeting people that I can help take that step, whatever that step is in their life. So that's been amazing. That's been really good. Happy to hear your comments, your stories, things like that are great for me as well because it's a way for me to engage. And for those of you that know me, if you've watched some of my videos and if you've commented or if you've sent me an email, you know that I've responded. And for many of you, you know that I've also given you free classes online on Zoom or Google Meet just to kind of see where you're at, find out what's going on, and just to hear, a little bit about you and what makes your situation different from others as well. But for now, that's me. That's a little bit about when I first moved to Korea, where I'm from, and kind of what motivates me to continue doing this. And I like it. I feel very passionate about this, not just from language learning aspect, like I said, but more from a people aspect of getting to talk to great people like you, hearing your story. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you in the next podcast.